Why, hello.
Sup?
We
Howdy.
got a wild Tyree. He showed up.
Yeah.
No, everybody's glad that Mr. Tyree's making an appearance for tonight because he can actually give a little bit of insight. Everybody works a little bit differently, and we're going to get into that. Everybody works a little bit differently, but he's got a couple of stories that can actually help you guys relate and understand. But first off, so looking at announcements, if you haven't yet, swing by the YouTube channel. If you missed any of the conversations that we've had on different topics like your clairs and activating different things like connection with your divine, uh, different forms of gift, different types of paranormal entities and activations. If you missed any of that stuff, it's cool. We have a backlog of it. You can get all of our discussions on Thursdays up to a year ago on Facebook at this point, or on YouTube at this point.
Yeah.
Facebook
deleted them.
Yeah. Facebook went nah. And not just with us, but with everybody.
Yeah.
So any old content you're not going to find here because it has been erased from their servers. And anything that you would like to review, you only have a month to do so. Facebook will delete it after about 30 days. So all of our backlog and our current stuff, they're on YouTube. Of course, our shorts and things like that are going to be on YouTube. And the forecast, for those of you who have been missing it, it is there. We officially quit doing the forecast on Facebook. We're now doing it exclusively on our YouTube channel. There's a couple reasons for that. One is, yes, being honest, we would like you to actually check out our YouTube channel. But the other reason is it's an easier format to do that kind of stuff, the kinds of things that we want to do, and calling it exactly what it is. We're not being flagged every single day, literally, for music that doesn't exist on our videos. So the algorithm is a lot nicer. So we're going to be doing the thing at at YouTube, at least as far as some of this. Our Thursday night lives and Tarot night lives are, of course, going to be simulcast as always. You can catch us here. You can also catch us there. And we'll be doing the thing. And we're going to be at
the Central Kentucky Mystical Market next weekend. So it is still at the new location, guys. I know we pumped it a few times. Come out and see us if you're going to be in the area. It's the 17th and 18th. I believe there is a special theme this month. I just don't remember what it is off the top of my head. But
I think it has to coincide with Mother's Day.
I think so, even though Mother's Day is the weekend before. So come out and see us if you're going to be in the area next weekend, the 17th and 18th. If you're going to be in Ohio, first of all, Godspeed. Sorry about that. But if you're going to be in Ohio, check out Mystic Nights on the 17th. It's going to be in a new location as well. So there will be a couple of awesome people there. If you're interested, check it out. Missy and Mandy always put on a great event with the Girls from Ascending Shadows. So right now, that's currently all we've got for May, other than Tarot Night Live at the end of the month. And starting next month, hopefully we will have a couple of dates for some 100s for y'all.
Yep, we will officially be starting classes again over the summer. You know, we were trying to get this done a little bit sooner. Literally, we were trying to get it started in April, but due to obvious circumstances, we definitely didn't. And then we've taken this month to kind of catch the stride. So June we are looking at, but June it is. We're going to actually start doing classes again for you guys and getting that started again. We're going to be starting with 100s. We're also maybe going to squeak in a 300 level class for those of you that have already taken the ones and you don't want to retake them.
Yeah.
So we'll have some new stuff as far as that's concerned. Also, Bridging the Gap, we've got episodes. They have been popping up. You know, Brian's been doing the thing, making sure they're edited and put out for you guys. We got a couple that are new that are up there. He's got a couple,
Just one.
just the one.
Yeah, the next one is set to premiere next Tuesday.
So we've got one up now and one soon to be. And if you haven't caught his video, it is in our featured posts. So you can go up there and check it out. He's, talking with you guys about what he's got planned, the things that are currently going on with the show, different things for Spirit Mechanics on his end. And if you haven't noticed, Mr. Brian has officially taken over the producer seat. So we are in capable hands. He's been making sure that everything is running as it should and is cleaned up. And, we got our ticker going. We got all kinds of stuff going. But speaking of cleaning things up, so we do these recordings and things, a lot of this stuff, at least as far as the quick word and the forecast, they're pre-recorded. And it's a good damn thing that some of them are. Brian's got some evidence.
So, very sorry about the cuts that need to be made. I have no idea why, but Honey has been 100% in my ass the entire time we've been doing this. Has jumped up on the surface that I've been recording on, has, jumped up and just about knocked my ashtray off this little stand I got, has actively tried to be in my lap or in my face all day. So those were the times that I had to literally just grab her and plop her onto the floor. So chill there for a minute. Reset yourself.
She's a paid actress.
She is. She is paid in meat goo and wet food.
God.
But we're gonna have some fun stuff like that for you guys every now and then when Brian gets enough dirt. We'll have some more blooper reels, different things from before the lives and during the lives. Different mechanics, and of course me stumbling across my words and shit because my cat wants to be in my business.
But Dad,
you're my dad.
And
she loves you. She loves you so much.
She's my baby. She's my baby.
Jacob saw your question in the comments. Rocky Hounds is going to be at the Central Kentucky Mystical Market next weekend. I just double checked while we were watching the blooper reel to confirm.
Brian, you got anything else?
I wanted to say thank you all. Actually, we have jumped up like a bunch of subscribers since last week. We went from like 112 to 128 in a week. So far, our biggest views on a video ever is your forecast.
Thank you guys very much. I'm glad that everybody that watches it gets something out of it. And I try to make sure that it's relatable, try to explain everything, how I do it, what I'm talking about. So it's all broken down so everybody can understand. It's not just woo out here esoterics. It's literally talking about day-to-day stuff, how you work, how you process, and the reasons why I'm kind of vibing it the way that I am. So if you're interested, as Brian had mentioned, we're doing the thing on the YouTube. So go and check it out. And thank you guys very much as well. Brian has stated for literally the nearly 10 years that we've been live streaming in one way, shape, or fashion, that we have the best community on the internet. And I believe that we still do. You know, you guys are the best. You've always been there for us. You've been there for each other. It's really great stuff, and we appreciate you. We can only do what it is that we do because of you. So
Exactly.
thank you all very much.
One thing I wanted to ask is everybody like the basically where we take an older episode and cut it down into smaller chunks? I wanted to ask the community that if y'all want to throw it in the comments on here on this video, that way I can kind of see it. Otherwise, you know, just kind of seeing where I'm feeling things out. I can see the analytics, I can see how things do. But if it's not something that you're interested in as our community, it's a waste of my time to edit it and put it together and throw it out. Of course, the forecasts are going to be every week. Of course, the quick words are going to be every week. The what was the other one?
Bridging the gap.
Thank you. the thing that I work on. Those will be every other week. Those are bigger data pools for me to have to cut from to make things out of and to make it relevant within the context of what's going on in the situation. But if y'all would like the smaller chunk of the older episodes, I can continue doing that, or me and Steve can get together and try to throw some ideas for some different kinds of content that's similar. I don't want to do the forecast 5 days a week.
No.
No, I tried that for a literal year. I tried that, and I love you guys, but it was miserable. So once a week is enough.
We already scheduled the recordings and stuff like that. Steve has that on his schedule to do. So all he has to do if he wants to make something extra is just allot it in that same time frame, and we can go from there. And I can pretty edit as opposed to, all right, we're cutting for pacing, we're cutting dead space off, I'm taking the bloopers out, you know, things like that. I can actually put some B-roll behind him, or actually cut him the completely fuck out of the background, cut the background out of it and stick him in the woods. Stuff that I can do.
I still think we need to do the fireside chat thing.
Okay.
Because you had that idea for like years of
Yeah.
having this backdrop of me in with the superimposed fucking fireplace behind me, like sipping whiskey and shit and giving old man advice.
I think it'd be pretty dope. I think it would also be really fun to have like an entire stream, or not a stream, but like a video of all of us just randomly cussing, but it's not cuss words.
I tried that. It's hard to catch you all and cut it, and I added goat noises to one of those where.
He did. It was great.
But it adds like an extra 30 minutes to my extra 30, 45 minutes to my cut times. I could do it.
It's so funny though. It's so funny.
Bah.
Nah.
Yeah, we could do that. Mike Thornton says green screen the hell out of Steve.
Oh my god, we could just like put you in a Velocipaster costume.
Just put him in his smoking jacket.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. I'd vibe a smoking jacket.
Give him a cigar and a whiskey.
For realsies though on that one.
I mean, just give me the cigar and whiskey anyway.
That's where I'm at. Shit.
But absolutely. If you guys have suggestions of things that you would like us to do or like to see from us, different content, let us know. You know, Brian, Pat, and I especially, you know, let us know. We'll try to work something out for you. We want to try and offer different things. So, you know, kind of like what Brian was saying, we don't want to do the forecast and then something similar, or multiple quick words throughout the week, things like that. It's supposed to be a weekly gig. But if you guys have different things that you would like to see, we've got ideas for different types of commercials. We got ideas for different comedy stuff. some like the blooper reel. We've got ideas for that. We've got ideas for TikToks, different things like that. We just haven't been able to implement that yet.
Mm-mm.
But if you guys have things that you would like to see or things that you would like me or another mechanic to talk about, let us know.
Yeah.
And we'll do our best.
We're ready to go on any kind of like TikTok content that if you all are interested in that, we can start, or reels, shorts, TikTok, whatever,
It's all the same.
all the same.
That's
I
cool.
already have a formatted template in my DaVinci or in my editing software ready to go. All I got to do is just go. We just need content. This is alchemy. I can't make nothing from nothing. Make something from nothing. I just can't. I have to have things to make stuff with.
1 + 2 = yes.
Wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one gets full first.
Just a smell, and I need to wash my hands.
Speaking of that, tonight's topic.
Talking about physical presences.
Actually, how are we doing with the movie thing that we challenge people?
So we do not have 5,000 subscribers yet, but we're getting there.
We are currently at I'll give an update. This content is unavailable right now. Cool.
3.2K.
Thank you.
So we're at 3.2K.
As my computer goes, no, you're not going to get to look at that.
Boo.
Uh,
Because
at-
you shit in your hand.
got that stank finger.
Man, I need a shower.
but at 3,500 followers, we're going to give you guys something special. We haven't quite decided what that is. It's usually some kind of giveaway or some kind of special event, things like that. At 3,500, we're going to give you guys something special. So tell all your friends. But at 5,000 follows, we are going to reenact a horror movie of your all's choosing. And
I am excited.
We have ideas. We just need to get to 5,000.
also, hear tell, there is a special project that we're going to have Brian heading up that he does know about. We actually did talk about this.
Yeah.
We do have a special project that Brian is going to head up that you might be able to get in on if you would like. We might, and you didn't hear this from us, but you did.
You heard it from Steve.
You heard it from me, but not anybody else.
No.
No.
The wolf in the background.
Right. We might be making a spoof movie.
And you might, maybe, if we decide to do that for the giveaway for 3,500 followers.
You might be able to have a part in it.
If you're local.
Well, depending. We might be able to make a special situation where someone could be a newscaster or radio caster or...
Oh, yeah, definitely. All I have to do is have you... I can get you a link into exactly what we're doing right now. I can record it and cut you. And all you have to do is just wear what I ask you to wear, like a suit or a nice dress or something like that. And then we'll do it that way. I don't even need your background.
So, share.
Yeah, share us out. The big deal here is it's the same social media stuff that you would always see. You know, we're always 100% transparent, and we're always going to be. So, yeah, this is a lot of the social media grind. But there is that unfortunate, scruple side of SMX that the more people that we reach, the more people we can help, the more people we can teach, the more people that can actually, be supported by the community. There's a lot of things that can be a benefit. So Also, remember, Spirit Mechanics works because you guys are here and you guys support us. So it's not like we're gaining from this in any ulterior motive kind of way. We're here working for you guys. So why not have other people come in on it, right? Share the wealth or the poverty, however you want us to be, however we want to be it.
The humorous fun time.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's less depressing.
Woo! You're welcome.
All right.
What was that comment about shit in one hand and wishing in the other?
I'll make sure to use my left.
We have to have the good TP.
We do have to have it. We do have.
You can't use the Walmart TP. It's not enough.
I thought you said TV and I had questions.
Gotta have the
I
good
thought he
TV.
said-
That's
I thought he said TV too.
that's the one without the static on the screen.
Because I'm like, what are you doing to this poor TV?
I need paper. I don't need plastic.
Oh my
Plastic.
God.
I don't want to scratch it. I just want to just clean.
Smooth.
So, tonight's
We have
topic.
I have a one dry, one wet, one dry policy. Use baby wipes.
Shit in one hand and wish in the other.
God.
All right. I'm going to mute myself. Y'all go ahead.
So, Spirit Mechanics community.
All right. And scene. Caress the burn.
Caress the burn.
The
Who?
bum.
The bum. I thought it's who did this?
Oh, bum. I thought it was burn. Sorry.
Dang. Oh my.
Man, my dyslexia.
Caress the burn.
Like, what the fuck did you do? Why are you burning? What?
I ate Allie.
That John Wayne paper opened the gateway to hell.
Well,
Through the TV?
well, pepper is made of wood, and what happens when you start rubbing twigs together?
Oh, shoot.
We are not
We
going to
don't have
discuss it.
we don't have explosive diarrhea that I need to wipe 36 times in a row.
Sweet fuck. Tonight's topic.
All right. And scene.
What
Go.
makes it worse is that it's physical stuff.
Shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ.
Scene.
Woosa.
Check this
Woo.
running joke down my leg. So
Learning your own spiritual language. What?
so
right.
last week, we're
Where's that director thing? It's like the what?
All right, hold on. So we lost complete control. I'm going to go ahead and back.
Okay.
motherfucker. Just had to get that out. So the whole theme this month, geez, I think there's some fucking pent up frustration that needs to be worked out.
Do you think any of us have ADHD?
Might be a couple. God bless. But this month's topic, at least supposed to be, this month's topic is about discovering your own spiritual language. So understanding how it is that you work when your clairs pop. if you didn't catch, the whole explanation of Claire's, what they are, what they do, the whole bit, that was last month. You can catch it on the YouTube. We mentioned that. But this is the expansion of that. So last week, we were talking a lot about having your mental and emotional space actually in a space that was healthy before you decided to say that it was your gift. Like saying that, you feel the world's pain. If you did, you'd be dead. I love each and every one of you, but none of you are capable of that kind of comprehension. 8 billion people's worth, trillion, excuse me, people's worth of,
Perceived pain.
stress, emotional upheaval, manic giddiness. There's no way any of you guys could handle literally all of that. And I'm not saying that I could either.
Spontaneous human combustion at that point.
That your brain would melt. So there's a difference between understanding that your anxiety is something that you are projecting because I feel this way, it's your fault. Or you're agoraphobic. You have a fear and an uncontrolled stress in crowds.
Which is okay.
It's things that are fine. It's things that, everybody eventually has at least a run-in with. But to say that that's your gift, that's really fucking depressing, isn't it? That's not what this is about. Having a mental understanding of your position. So being able to logically understand where you are and having your emotions in check allow you to know exactly where it is that your empathy sits. That way you can take your bias out of the situation. This is going to be no different. The discussion tonight is going to be about physical process. And that is, how your body reacts, things that you can do to prepare yourself in a physical nature, and some of the results, which is one of the reasons why we have Mr. Tyree here. He actually has a couple of very good stories about that. So the first thing that we're actually going to talk to on this particular topic is understanding the difference between your instincts and your intuition. They're two very separate things. Yes, they can work in conjunction, so they work together, but they're not the same thing. There's a difference between having an inner feeling of something that is about to happen or is happening and trusting your gut. I love you guys, but those of you that use that expression, that's a no-no. Your gut's great. It'll tell you when you need to shit and when you need to eat, but that's about it. It'll also tell you when you're anxious, when you get that pit in your stomach. It'll also tell you when, things start to rile up with you because, you'll start to get tightness. But is that your intuition popping? No. Because here's the awesome thing. Your intuition has nothing to do with your physical fucking body. Period. It's something that is well outside of you that is actually giving you some form of knowledge to use. That's it. It's a spiritual movement that your mind and soul receive. Your body reacts usually secondhand. Now, there are certain clairs that need to be instinct-based first, such as clairsentience, clairgustance, that kind of thing. And the big thing there is the intuition pops once you understand what is physically going on. Well, I'm having this particular experience, and the intuition pops and go, this is the reason why. Some people work that way. Most people, and I am saying it this way, most people, work the exact opposite. The intuition hits, then the body responds. So, what is instinct? Instinct is literally your body's understanding of its surroundings and your reflex reactions to what is actually happening around you. In other words, instinct is your body reacting to situations that it has already encountered. So when you trust those feelings like cold sweats and pits in your stomach and getting the shakes and are you actually experiencing your intuition or are you experiencing anxiety?
Big difference.
Here's how we're going to help you guys out with that. The first thing that you need to do when you start to have those sensations is literally stop and make sure that one, your mind's clear, so you're able to actually process logically. So you can debunk, you can talk yourself down, you can make sure your mental checklist is solid, you're good to go. That will get your emotions in check. If those feelings are still there once you have yourself under control, that's when you can trust it. But if you're, oh my God, I'm in a haunted house, hello, people in TV land, I'm Random Ghost Hunter with a black tap out shirt on. I'm in this haunted location. And because of that, things are spooky and scary and full of Dermans. And then, somebody throws a fucking Kit Kat down a hallway and, oh my God, did you know that there was a ghost down the hallway?
No, but I knew you would grab my arm. Did I really know?
There's a difference between responding that way and actual intuition. It's the reason why you can have somebody that actually knows what's going on intuitively. You'll literally watch them stand there and stare at motherfuckers that do that. There's nothing there.
As a matter of fact, I know a few of y'all in the community have actively watched several of the mechanics do that to other people.
To their face.
Not necessarily in a haunted location, but, in the middle of a market, the middle of the Scarefest floor. No, what are you talking about? Nothing's there.
But, okay, what I need you to do, and this is one of her gigs, what I need you to do is I need you to breathe with me.
Mm-hmm. Can you do me a favor? Take a deep breath.
And literally, by the time she gets through 3 breaths, it's gone. Everything's okay. How's your heart rate? It's slowed. How's that pit in your stomach? Well, it's gone. How's that tension headache? It's eased. Cool. What did you do? I calmed you down from a panic attack.
And you would be surprised at how often that is. Or an anxiety attack, or,
massive anger fit, or, some kind of mania, or insert condition or situation here. The big thing here is being able to understand what is normal for your body and what is not. If you know for a fact that your body is going to react in certain ways, like you'll hear Brian and I teach, literally, we teach this about intuitive tics. So when you're actually working and your body begins to move in different ways, and they are the same way every single time. All right, I'm connected. Well, how do you know? Because this is how things are going to go. My body is doing this on its own because you don't actually realize it until you notice it. If you're forcing yourself to do those kinds of movements, then, you probably need to finger wag because that's mentalism. But the big thing here is understanding what your body is going to process and what it's not. Trusting the gut feeling and, the heart racing and things like that is usually not a great idea. Now, trusting things like when you freeze, and I'm not talking about getting cold, I'm talking about when you stop. You're in the middle of things, you're talking, everything's great, and all of a sudden, literally the lights go out. And you're stuck there. In that space, a lot of people wind up connecting to the dead or other apparitions or entities that are around and actually have a conversation while they're dipped out. A lot of the well-known mediums, such as Amy Allen, actually have that particular penchant where I'm going to go this way and I'm going to talk to this motherfucker and then we're going to explain what happened. But notice that the intuition hits first and then the body responds after. She's a physical medium, which is somebody that experiences in a physical sense what is being told to them, what is being shown to them. So if you freeze, that's one thing. If if you start to tick, you tap on things, while you're having a conversation, or you, as I mentioned, you start to use your body language a lot more, but in specific movements, or there are specific kinds of muscle twitches or motions. One that is common, at least among the mechanics, is a sway. Especially if we're trying to ease things, we're talking, everything's cool. Cool, we got your vibe. Being able to understand how it is that you actually interpret energetic movement on a physical level is important. And I keep coming back to that because it is important. I'm going to wind up repeating myself a lot tonight. But go ahead.
Excuse me. I was just going to say the other thing. Well, it's on my mind because this is something else that'll be repeated quite a bit this whole month. Please remember your boundaries. Please remember shielding. All it takes is the word no with some actual ass behind you and some meaning behind it. PSA Part 1.
So how is it that we talked about breathing. How is it that you can tell an anxiety or a panic attack or some kind of emotional outburst from your intuition, from your clairs active? One is take you a moment to actually do that. Take you a moment to have a couple of deep breaths and try to ease down. If you can ease yourself down from the situation, you can remove yourself from the situation and you can calm down, then more than likely it was some kind of panic attack. If you can use the law of observation, which is seeing yourself as a third party in a situation. So I'm here and this is happening. If you can view yourself outside of it as someone who can watch that situation, that means it has nothing to do with you. And automatically the brain goes, oh, this is none of my business, and eases you out of it. That's not bullshit. That's actual psychology. If your stomach is upset, that kind of thing, you're getting a headache or you're getting dizzy, if you can go outside for a moment, then do your breathing, then do your law of observation, and you can calm down and your physical symptoms ease. Because I'm going to tell you all this, and it's going to freak some of you out, and it's going to make you all go, oh yeah, neat. If it's affecting you in the place, it's going to affect you outside it. Taking yourself outside of a location where there is, some kind of demonic or some kind of attachment or some kind of horrible entity or a miasma or different things like that that has the ability to affect you on a greater level, if it can affect you in a single room of a single, house, what makes you think it's going to stay the fuck in that house when you roll outside? If you're its chosen quarry, what makes you think that it is going to leave you alone? Trying to run from it is only going to perpetuate things.
That, and quite frankly, to a lot of those things, fear tastes the best.
So it's something to really keep in mind. If you can calm down and your symptoms go away when you go outside, it probably means that you overhyped yourself.
Grounding's important, especially when you're trying to work on yourself and your clairs. And it's even more important in haunted locations. Because if you can maintain yourself, you can actually understand what's there. You can separate out what your anxiety is versus what's actually being told to you or what's happening. And that's a really big part. Because if you overhype yourself, it's really easy to forget where you're at, not only mentally, but physically. Then you can do really dumb things like forgetting to process and forgetting your process in itself. It can be dangerous.
Next thing, don't go into a situation where you're going to use your clairs exhausted. Am I saying that everybody has the ability to get an awesome night's sleep every night? No.
No, yeah, okay. As I just got called out.
Not a lot of people can do that, especially right now. Some people can. It 5 out of 10, maybe even 7 out of 10 probably could. But for those of us that live off of caffeine, willpower, and nicotine, that's not feasible. But going into a haunted location or even opening yourself up, so you're working around your home, you're trying to test your gifts, see how it is that they vibe, that kind of thing. If you're exhausted, you're not going to be able to tell when you're actually being drained and that you're just fucking tired. One of the first things we ask people when they say that they constantly get drained when they do any kind of work is, how's your sleep? What does that matter? It matters a lot. How's your sleep? Energy work shouldn't tire you out like that. So why are you getting that exhausted? Or when people say that they feel so drained in public locations, notice how I'm using the word public, in public locations, and just being there just seems to suck all the energy out of them, even though it's the middle of the fucking night and they slept 2 hours the night before. Guess what?
That leads to ouchies. There ain't a Band-Aid for that shit.
No, that one is an ointment. That's a little bit of a burn. But all jokes aside, you can't claim that something is draining you when you're already drained. You can't give from an empty cup.
If your battery on your phone is at 10%, how do you expect to make it through the day? Same thing works for your energetic and self. If you're only at 10% of functionality out of 100, you're only going to get 10%, and that drains really freaking fast.
Next thing, and this is going to sound ridiculous, but it actually ties into the bullshittery that was the beginning of this Thursday Night Live, and that is you don't want to eat immediately before you show up to a location, whether that is a residential or a public investigation or house cleansing, things like that. You don't want to show up to that just having eaten. The reason why is a lot of people get a little bit of the tired's when they get the tum full, and then go, oh shit, there's a ghost draining me. And then when the food decides to hit bottom right before it hits the toilet, everybody has this tendency to go, there's a pit in my stomach and I feel heaviness in my core. Well, probably because you're about ready to lay a huge turd baby in someone's toilet that doesn't deserve your wrath. Does it mean? Does it?
Left or right hand?
Both.
Poor burrito baby.
Burrito baby. That is a refried child in that toilet.
I am 100% cutting this out and actually making
but again, all jokes aside, seriously, if you're going to have natural functions, if you're going to have natural functions, have them before you actually go into this stuff, because then you're going to be confusing what is your natural process of digestion or being tired because of tryptophan or whatever the situation is. You're going to be confusing that for actual metaphysical issues. What you want to do, eat something earlier in the day and then bring something to snack on while you're there.
PSA, and I am going to be that bitch. I apologize in advance. Please drink your water too.
If you're dehydrated as fuck.
Oh my God, it's ass awful. It's horrid.
Headaches, body aches. There's a lot of things, you can actually get dizzy spells from it. All kinds of different things can happen from dehydration, and a good amount of dehydration can make you really ill really quick.
And combining that with clairs and metaphysics is a really bad fucking combination. You don't want to be the one that drops in the middle of an investigation because you haven't had any water and you literally tapped out because you were dehydrated.
It's pretty rough. Especially when you're like, it kicked my ass, and someone handles you, gets you to a seat, whatever, and then hands you a bottle of water, and you chug that whore, and you're like, oh, well, I'm fine now. You're going to get stared at. I promise you're going to get stared at.
It's important to maintain the water just because you still have to remember your physical body requires physical things.
Just because you're there as a sensitive, a medium, a psychic, a clair, practitioner, whatever it is that you want to call yourself, just because you're there as that doesn't mean that your body doesn't need to be the vehicle.
Mm-hmm. That, and you can use water for a lot of things. If you have Gostens or sentence, you can literally clean your fucking scent out.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know what the fuck that taste was. It was awful. Well, here's some water. Cleanse it out. Do you still taste it? No. Awesome.
Then that's something heinous you had for lunch.
Yeah. It's a thing, it actually can be another way to make sure that what you're having happen isn't something that your body is physically doing. It can help you differentiate between the intuition and the instinct or just daily body functions.
One of the important things about any of this, then we're actually going to get into a couple of stories about being physically impaired. I think we all are. At least
In
up
April,
here.
it does not count to have water in dark brown with espresso. I'm sorry.
It do not.
You need the clear.
You're
Not Everclear. You need the actual clear H2O.
that apparently you can get hydrated now, but hydrogenated for
So-
extra hydration.
Nope.
Gun to head. But but honestly, when it comes down to any of this stuff, being able to physically debunk yourself is important. And it should be a regular fucking occurrence. Your first reaction should be, is this something that I'm telling myself? Is this something that I'm doing to myself? If both of those answers are no, and I can prove that they're no, then we actually got something going. Like she said with, the Claire Gustins, okay, well, I can't get this taste off my tongue. She, throws back some water. If the taste is still there, that's actually the Claire going, yo, there's something up. If it dissipates after the water, that's just something that she had recently eaten, another drink she had had, something that's going on.
A taste in the air that I'm catching.
Right.
That may not even be at that location. Because that's the thing, especially with that. If you catch it in the air, if it goes away with the water, it may not have been at that location.
There's a number of things that go into this. Being able to calm yourself down. Look, we're looping it back. Being able to calm yourself down, make sure your emotions are in check. Being able to self-check yourself, both physically and mentally, is going to make sure that 1, you're a better investigator, 2, you're a better sensitive, and 3, you're not a fuck off.
And 4, it shows other people around you that they can trust you.
There's nothing worse than someone giving full, just full committing to their situation and not a single thing to prove it.
Yep.
Now, am I saying that all things have to be proven 100% before they're going to be taken into consideration or into some kind of evidence? No. But when literally there is nothing, it's crickets, meaning that it's really quiet, it's crickets, nobody's sensing anything, feeling anything, even noticing anything physically. There's no temperature changes. There's no static in the air. There's no anything coming up on equipment. And this one person is having a freak out by themselves. There's one of 2 things that's going on. Either, yes, they're having that freak out by themselves, or 2, they're the one that came with the baggage.
Just because a location's haunted doesn't mean that what's haunting you is from that location.
Certain things can activate an attachment real quick. And one of the best things for that is panic, fear, anxiety. Well, I'm in a haunted location. Well, I've been dealing with this haunted thing at my house. Well, what if that thing followed me? What if it's here with me? And all of a sudden, snap. And you are sitting in a corner freaking out while everybody else is going, what the hell is the matter with you?
And then you can't even communicate what the fuck happened because you have no fucking clue.
Being able to understand, hey, before we go in there, can someone check me? I've had some weirdness going on in my house. I don't know if I was able to handle it, if it's still there or not, if it's riding with me. Can someone check me out before we, get in there? I don't want to be, the cause of anything, and I definitely don't want anything to cause an issue with me. It's really easy. There's at least in every paranormal investigation group, there's at least one person that has an idea of how to do a cleansing on somebody. And if there isn't, shame on y'all. And that one is an actual finger wag. Shame on y'all. Now, should you do that shit on your way out? Absolutely. We call it picking ticks. When we go into a location, as soon as we leave it, We check each other because we don't want to go home with that shit.
Mm-mm.
You know what tells us that there's something there? Our physical bodies will react in ways that we're not used to. I don't feel right. Someone give me a check over.
Can you describe what's happening? What do you mean you don't feel well?
I feel this weird stitch in my side, and I haven't had any kind of muscle pulled, or I don't have any kind of condition. I didn't lay on it funny. I just kind of don't feel comfortable. Can someone take a look?
Yes.
Checks and balances, y'all. Checks and balances. Check yourself to balance your situation. Now, we're going to give both good and bad situations. So, who wants to start with a good situation? So, when you actually trusted your body to do the thing and were correct in doing so. You understood what was going on with you and could either differentiate or could handle the situation appropriately.
Actually, that happened to me the night of our last class at the Ross. Because we had went to eat probably about 45 minutes to an hour before we were actually supposed to meet.
Mm-hmm.
And we went actually walking around downtown. And it's like I suddenly got this awful smell in my mouth, I could actually start smelling like this really bad sulfur. So I was like, okay, we need to get away from this place. Because I wasn't for sure if it was something supernatural or if it was like gas coming up from the sewer.
Right.
And we actually walked like a block later, and then I just felt like somebody ran up behind me and just like basically started stabbing me. And I'm like doubled over on the side of the street. My dinner about ready to come back up. And it was like, I just started like, okay, I need to ground. And then I realized that it wasn't me. So I just whipped around and was like, get back, motherfucker. Get the fuck away. I ain't putting up with your bullshit. And then it just went. And it just started just like slowly backing away and then just disappeared. And I was good the rest of the night. Yeah, Jacob was there and he smelt it too.
Whoever smelt it dealt it.
Indeed. But case in point with that one, y'all, is notice what he did. His first reaction was to check himself. Okay, this is happening to me. I need to ground. It's on me. I'm the one that needs to ground. Take a minute. All right, I've taken enough time here. This shit isn't me. All right, get fucked. And off it fucked. It's that kind of a thing. You have to be able to understand in those situations what is you and what is not.
I have another good one.
Okay.
Well, I would say it's a decent one. We were at the Gaines Tavern, and upstairs, we had already had a whole bunch of information shoved down our throats as far as what was going on potentially with the location.
That dude's a fucking tool.
He is no longer associated with the tavern.
He is not.
So, he was really more concerned with what the sensitives found rather than what the investigation actually showed. So, I mean, he was being really pushy. So, I'm upstairs actually investigating with Raymond, and Raymond opens up a lot more, and I'm just standing there, but my hands are open. Mistake number one, but learned on it. So at least there's that. But I felt someone walk up beside me and kind of grab my hand. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to drop I'm going to let that go. No, thank you. and immediately had massive shooting pains. And so I kind of doubled over. I'm like, hey, this is what's going on. So I did the internal checks, went through my chakra system. All right, cool. Everything's functioning correctly, but these pains are ridiculous. And they weren't here 30 seconds ago. So if I ground, is it still there? Yes. Okay. I need help. And then went and asked for it. And so I'm doubled over, barely able to walk. And it's only been 45 seconds. So walking to the stairs, Steve's flying up the stairs. And so is the dude behind him. And immediately I stopped and I'm like, okay, so who died here from labor pain? He was like, oh, wow, there's this lady that nobody ever really talks to. And, you know, we've never really had her confirmed. I'm like, okay, I need you to move. I need you to move. And he wanted to talk. And Steve had to actually move him out of the way so that I could get out of the space. Because that was the thing, is that I needed the physical separation to finish disconnecting fully. Because that's part of what it is as long as you can disconnect. When you put your boundary back up, it can't be passed through. So got outside, got regrounded, did all of my internal checks, had other people check me over to make sure that I was actually physically okay and that I wasn't having any of those symptoms anymore, because anybody that's actually been through labor, hard pass. So it was an interesting experience because I was able to confirm something, yes, but I also learned a pretty heady lesson in that.
It's an interesting thing, that was literally, both of them actually experiencing physical mediumship to a varying degree, and notice what they both did. Cool. I need to get me under control first. I need to make sure that my body is okay, that my mind is right, that my emotions are steady before I revisit this, before I try to pick this apart. They removed themselves from the situation. They made sure that they were taken care of. And after that, they were able to go, okay, this was the experience as it happened. This is how it went. This is what went down. They could logically actually pick apart what was them and what was the actual situation, which makes the evidence a lot more solid. Kind of like when she was like, so this person doing this thing and this thing and this thing. And the guy's like, oh shit, well, no one ever gets that. Cool, that's awesome. Get the fuck out of the way. Got your evidence. I got me under control enough to answer your question. Now get the fuck out of my way. I need to make sure that I'm cool.
On that note, if you go to any location and you're any type of medium, please do not feed into somebody's idiotic view of the place you're at.
Oh my God.
Do not do that.
This fucking dude.
Because that happened at the same night. And Pat was there with me when I had my experience.
Yeah, Tyree had a fun one too.
Because all night, this idiot was on my case about what do you feel? What do you feel? What do you see? What do you see? What do you feel? There's a demon in the attic. There's a demon in the attic. I finally had to whip around on him and be like, no, there is no demon up here. I don't feel a demon. If there was a demon up here, I wouldn't be here. And then we go investigate the attic and I get pistol whipped.
Confirmed.
Actually.
And it was like, I am not telling dude this because that'll just feed him.
Because that's the thing too, is that this is a PSA. For the love of fuck, if you go on an investigation with people claiming to be sensitive, please don't follow them around, stalking them, asking them what the fuck it is that they feel every 5 minutes.
I mean, if you're going around to document, if you're going around to watch for your own education, things like that, that's fine. But don't hound people. They're
Please
people.
no.
They're literally not bloodhounds. They're not, sideshows. That's not what they're there for. They're there to connect and make sense of stories, not yours, the dead's. Have some fucking respect. But getting back into it. So one of the more interesting, as far as good ones, at least on my end, one of the more interesting ones that that we actually wound up having, and I've talked about this one before. It was the Hamilton case. Brian remembers this one. It was the Hamilton case in Ohio. But we've talked about this a lot in length, and if you guys haven't heard the story, we can tell it on a different live stream. But essentially, there was a older man that was confirmed by multiple people, including Amy. This was a dead files case that we had taken, and he would pace out in front of the house and wave his hand and pray, and I mean to the point to where you could audibly hear it at times, just going. And then when night would fall, he would lose himself, lock himself into a bedroom, and proceed to lash out at anybody that got close because he didn't realize where he was. He didn't realize who anybody else was, and was basically becoming a vengeful spirit, which we've talked about on live streams as well. But it's basically, think of it like sundowning, only for spirits and apparitions. So during the day, he was trying to protect the property, and at night, he was becoming the reason why he felt he needed to protect the property. It was really sad. And we roll in there, and, we do the cursory look, we do the cursory feel. We're trying to get an idea for things. We're doing environmentals, EMFs, CVPs, different things like that. Spirit boxes, trying to get some kind of evidence to corroborate what it is that we're noticing. And we get to the room in question, and you can ask Brian, that room was stone cold silent. Like quiet. And it was me, him, and a former member. We had walked into the room, and it was palpable. You could feel that man in that room. And it was literally the connection. It was the pastors that were going into it. All right, we're talking pastor to pastor, minister to minister. We're doing this thing. And you felt the air begin to move. It was an interesting physical sensation that none of us could prove was something we were doing. And it was almost like this man was walking from each one of us and putting his hand on our shoulder and trying to tell us his story. I don't know about Brian, I can't, because it was the same case where we had to bring his wife to collect him.
Yeah, I remember.
I don't know if you did or not, but I mean, I was misty-eyed when we left the room. That time.
I get emotional easily when it comes to that kind of stuff anyway. So there wasn't a dry eye in the room. Even the former member, they were crying.
And he was atheist. So, it messed him up. And that's something that is bringing this home as far as physical sensation, as far as things that were awesome, is here's somebody that does not believe in that particular practice, that particular philosophy, that religion, that presence, and it still rocked him. It was something that he could not disprove, that was physically affecting him in a way that he didn't understand. it was a very awesome experience. And it's one that I haven't had since, as far as that kind of movement. But it was probably one of the most awesome physical experiences I've had. But the entire time, you know, we're listening, we're doing the mediumship thing, we're, trying to get things through EMF and, proxmeter, different things like that, at least as far as the gadgets that the former member had. We were trying to run through them to see if we could catch this man. Got mild evidence to say that he was there, but could definitely back it up by the time we left the room. And it was just really fucking neat. It was really fucking cool. But the big thing here is we did the checks and balances. Everybody literally checked each other over. And it wasn't a, hey, do you feel that? Do you notice that? Usually it was, okay, everybody else is noticing that too. But it wasn't brought up what that thing was. It was unspoken a lot of the time. Okay, we're on the same page, cool. But it was literally glances at each other from like across the room, or, motions, like this. And then, it just the confirmations. It wasn't us telling what it is that we were going through. There was still a checks and balances there. That way we weren't leading each other into having an experience. And every one of us had both a very viscerally similar experience and a very different one all at the same time. It's really cool. So now, going with bad things. So when we screwed the pooch, because, accountability is a thing.
I'll start.
Okay.
So one of the things that I do, obviously, is taste. That's one of my main clairs. That's the first one that pops normally. So the example that I was giving earlier is one of the things that I used to do that wasn't always awesome, because I have to physically process energy through my body. It's the way that I work. It's literally cycling. But when I don't ground out, I hold on to that. And when I do, it literally fucks my body. So, for instance, would have a pretty heady emotional conversation with a client, or, another one of the mechanics when I was first starting out. And I would take in the energy, take in that specific emotion, taste it, help them calm back down, or whatever it was that I was trying to get the other emotion from, the balance side of the stressful emotion. So the first couple times I actually let the quote unquote milk sour, and it was awful. And Brian and Steve at one point actually had to do some surgery metaphysically on me to remove that, because I couldn't ground it out and I couldn't get it out because I wasn't letting myself. So when that happened, it actually sent 2 or 3 of my chakras into a full storm. And they had to take care of that so that I didn't implode my own body. So now that's why I do the certain things that I do, especially after working with a client. Like, I'll take some time, or the breath work is extremely important, or I immediately ground out because it's something that I've had to learn to do to make sure that I process. And you can always tell when I've actually finished processing because I burp. It's my body's way of going, okay, cool. It is through the system. It is processed, solid. But there were some rough goes figuring that out. That's one of the other reasons why I always mention process everything. Don't keep it, especially if it's something that was being worked on by a client, by you, by somebody else. Don't hold on to it. It'll physically affect you. especially if you have some of the same clairs that I do, at least in the order that they pop.
Yes.
Your turn?
My turn?
Mhm.
Okay. The only bad experience I really, really, absolutely hate because I don't listen when people and things talk to me.
Notice the theme here?
Actually, and we have talked about this on lives before. Is I went through like a year of training to get my sound healing learned and going, on top of learning more and more and more about chakras to get to where I am now. And I'm still growing and learning. But what was it? Vidco is when I really jumped into the studying and training and doing. Got through that, went back to a job, working 40 hours a week, not paying attention to what I'm being told, like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. You're supposed to be doing this. I climb up on a ladder and they just politely pushed me off, and I about ripped my AC in the knee.
Yeah.
Meniscus?
Yeah, the meniscus. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And I was on crutches for
Jeez, it was
6 months, to almost a year.
roundabouts. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't do nothing for
7,
almost
8
a year.
months.
Yeah. So I was finally like, hey, my 2-week notice is going in on this job, and I'm starting my own business. And that's how we became here.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. Thanks for getting hurt on our behalf, Tyree.
But yeah, if you don't pay attention, because you will be giving obvious signs. And when you don't pay attention to those signs, and if you don't listen to the voices that actually show up in your head, they will get your attention.
Especially if you have that boundary with them that you need to be shown by drastic measures.
So don't be hard-headed.
I was about to say it kind of shows the hard-headedness of not listening. Same. I'm a dip now.
I mean, there were plenty of times, especially when I was younger. I mean, not even, 10 years ago, not even 5 years ago, even not even at, a year ago, I was still making the same mistakes, and everybody always will. You will eventually make a similar mistake. It's just going to happen. You're going to get busy. You're not going to think. You're not going to process. You're going to know better, but you're going to do it anyway. That's just how it is. But I really made some fucked up mistakes when I was younger. When I was in my teens and still learning what it is that I particularly do. There was a lot of, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to listen. And that was the whole thing of, okay, well, this is what was told to me. That's great. That's wonderful. That's practice. I'm going to commit it to memory. However, I'm going to see if this works instead.
Teenager shit.
It's not a find your own way kind of thing. It's literally that's what you say. I'm going to see what it is that I find.
Fuck you. I know you said this door's open, but so is this wall if I force it.
Kind of, yeah. I can make my own fucking door. I don't need your fucking easy street doorknob and fancy fucking, threshold bullshit. I'm just gonna crash through this wall. No,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah.
Full fucking Kool-Aid man.
But no, actually that was That was one of the first cases that I took with my teacher, with Charles. And I've talked about it before on live stream, but uh, we had gone to a house. It reportedly, of course, reportedly haunted. And we were called in because it was kind of a not necessarily an oh shit, burn the house down situation, but it was definitely three different churches tried and three different churches came back with nil. And they were like, look, we gotta call somebody in. So Charles goes, all right, you're my apprentice, we're gonna go do. And we wound up there and we're looking around and Charles says, you can look around, stay close to me. Well, what does teenage Steve do? He wanders off like a jackass.
Derp, 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 derp.
And, I'm scoping the house. Well, anybody that knows me and has worked with me knows that I do that. I go on walkabout. My blind ass totters around people's homes and, haunted ass locations, and I find what it is that I find is a hot spot. And I'm looking for that kind of thing. And, I come across what I believe is a closet. And, okay, we're going to go in, we're going to check it out. I go in, I turn around, turn the light switch on, and it is floor to ceiling collection of dolls. From the doorway on both sides, all the way to a window that's about, twice as big as, a decent computer monitor. It's an old school, just looking window for light. And I go up to the window and I'm like, okay. And then everything goes quiet. And I mean, like silent. And I turn around and I see that the door is shut. I didn't close that bitch behind me. And at that particular point, all the dolls moved to face me. The light went out and the room started to shake. And about the time I was going into a panic, Charles busted the door open and went, no. And everything literally just stopped. All right, out of the fucking room, go outside. So,
Yes, sir.
It's that whole thing of, I knew that there was something there. That's why I found it. I knew that it was a dangerous space. But here's another lesson. I was wanting to prove something. I was wanting to prove something to my teacher, to who I was working for, the whole bit. I was wanting to prove something at that particular time. One, that I knew what I was doing. Two, that I could handle myself. And obviously, I couldn't do either. I wasn't prepared for that. Was told that I wasn't prepared for that. Ignored my body telling me I wasn't prepared for that. And wound up with fucking PTSD from it. Trust me. Show me a haunted doll and watch that I don't reach for my lighter.
Can confirm. Doesn't matter if he's in a building or not.
That's what Renee just said. Room of dolls gets a gas can and a match.
Yep. It's one of the biggest reasons why I can't do haunted dolls very often. And if I do, I am not a very happy camper. I'll handle it. I'll face tank it if it means that my client is safe. But when I'm done with it, I shake. I go into cold sweats.
Okay, then why, like on almost every case or every investigation I've been on with you, we end up in a room of dolls?
Because life and God hate me. All jokes aside, it's actually fucking true for some reason.
It is, because it's always you.
It's always me that winds up with the dolls. And they're always haunted as fuck. And it's like, come on now.
Where was it? We went to
West Virginia?
Octagon Hall.
Yeah,
Oh.
there was the one in
Octagon
Octagon.
Hall, and we ended up in a room and him sitting right next to the biggest, ugliest doll in the room.
The thing that saved it was that my blind ass couldn't see that well in that dim light. Had I seen it, I probably would have drop kicked it. They did not tell me it was there until after my Estes session, because it was apparently sitting like from me to Tyree. And they're like, "Hey, Steve, you did a great job." And I'm like, "Thanks, I guess. It's not what it's about." And they go, "No, no, no. Didn't you see the big fucking doll next to you?" And I'm like, "There's a fucking doll next to me?"
That was the response. That was when I learned this thing about dolls. Because I didn't know before then.
Yeah, I don't do well. Like I said, if I need to be that person to make sure that someone else is safe, I'm going to take care of them first.
Total side note, PSA, lock your fucking dolls and your fucking mirrors. And please use Ouija boards responsibly if you choose to use a fucking Ouija board.
And if you use a Ouija board, don't call me.
That's something else that Spirit Mechanics apparently is known for, and that is handling people's roundabout playing around with shit that they shouldn't be messing with in the way that they do. But it's okay as long as you learn from it. That's kind of what we're telling these stories for. You know, we're trying to learn from our mistakes, and we're trying to show you the difference between actually understanding what you should pay attention to, what you're denying paying attention to, and what you definitely shouldn't pay attention to.
Yeah.
Your body is a great and wonderful tool. It's an awesome barometer for making sure that you understand spiritual pressures. But you need to understand what is your pressure that you're placing on yourself and what is external. Having your mind in check, straight line, we're able to focus, having your emotions in check. Cool, I'm steady, I'm ready to go. Allows you to pay attention to your body so that you can debunk things. Nah, I'm getting a little too ramped up. My pulse is up, I'm cold sweating, getting clammy. All right, a little too much energy. I'm overhyped. Got to ease myself. Take a couple breaths. Cool, now we're back in it. Being able to do this allows you to understand where your clairs kick and where your instincts are overriding it.
Well, on that note, that's my one saying is, if you're on an investigation or on a case, you are your best instrument.
As long as you're tuned in.
I mean, video cameras, digital recorders, those are all good. But listen to yourself first. And then use the others to be like, hey, this is what I was feeling and this is what it is.
It's always good to be grounded in reality first. I say this about the paranormal all the fucking time. And that is, the paranormal is literally, just things that are outside of what we perceive as normal. That's the whole supernatural thing. It's not just esoterics and occultism. Supernatural is literally something that is outside of what society perceives as a normal thing. That's it. That's what that fucking word means.
It's kind of like Claire.
Clairs are only that, Claire itself, the word in that context means clear. You have a heightened sense of this. That's what your clairs are. It's a heightened sense of this.
Mr. Redman, you have fun with that. He's with the original Annabelle doll this weekend. More power to you.
Lover would never shake her hand.
I've said what I said in our chat.
Fair.
I'll deal with you. That's cool. Just don't touch me.
That
Yeah, actually, that's something that Brian says all the fucking time.
Keep your hands to yourself. Don't fucking touch me.
It's a boundary.
Uh-huh.
You can exist. That's fine. As soon as you touch me, I'm probably going to revoke that.
Look, the way it's going to happen is you may beat me bloody, but I'm going to walk away.
Stop. Don't touch me there. That is my no-no square. It's just Brian's whole body. Don't
Just don't touch me. We've stayed
don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
we've stayed the night at client's house. Full activity, everything going on. I'm laying in the thing, and I think it was Missy was like, "Oh, you're kind of freaking out a little bit." What do you all think if anything happens in the middle of the night? If it doesn't touch me, I don't care. As soon as it touches me, we won't have to come back to this house.
Lighter in a gas can.
Mm-hmm.
Aerosol can and a lighter.
Aquanet.
Yup.
I don't make it anymore.
100%. But in closing, put a bow on all this. Notice how we're building things, right? We talked about your clairs and what they are last month. This month, we're talking about making sure that you are prepared for what it is that your clairs are going to be giving you. Your spiritual language is based off your experience when you connect. How your clairs bring that energy to the forefront, allow you to understand, get some context of what's going on that is above normal, above what you can just see and perceive at face value. Having your mind, your body, and your spirit collected and in a space that's actually conducive for them to work correctly is what's going to tell you what's different. It's that difference that makes you unique. It's that uniqueness that shows you your gift. All of this stuff builds. It's a very easy process when you get the fuck out of the way. We're just showing you how to get the fuck out of the way.
Healthy respect, never fear. Keep your boundaries. Actually listen.
That's no fun. If I listen, I don't get pushed off ladders.
Tyree.
Hi, this is Tyree, and welcome to Jackass.
I like to nosedive.
You and your kinks, Tyree. Okay.
I was actually about to say the same thing.
Shout out connectivity.
Yeah.
No, in all seriousness, guys, just listen to yourself and listen to your guides.
Both.
It's only as difficult as you make it because it should be.
As easy as breathing.
Don't touch Brian.
Just don't touch me.
And be sure to wipe with your left hand because most people are right hand dominant.
It depends. Just don't shit in that one.
If you're gonna have the shit hand, make sure that the other one's usable. But
Don't know who you're shaking hands with.
there is that. Hey man, can you take care of that for me? But
I need to make a deposit.
give that Pentecostal handshake with a handful. Just
Oh,
what are you gonna do? Just stare them in the face when you do?
I hope and pray. I hope and pray that person, whoever does that, has enough fiber.
I think we broke Tyree, but
No, the latter did.
for almost a year.
You want solid, not clay.
No.
I thought it was supposed to be mud.
Anyway, love y'all.
This is not. This ain't no cornfield. We ain't looking for blood.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is have a little bit of fun by educating you guys. We're using our experiences as some kind of a baseline for you. And these are important things for you guys to remember. So next week, we're going to be talking about being spiritually prepared. That one's going to be a little bit more fun and a little bit less of a lecture. And that one's going to be a little bit more fun because then we're going to start getting into the nitty gritty of all of this and how it actually works and functions and how you work and function. It's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah.
But remember to check us out on the YouTubes. To anybody that you think would be interested in what it is that we do or talk about or, give as far as content, show them our YouTube channel, show them the Facebook here. Remember that we're working for you guys. 3,500 gets, a special wusses from the team. There may be some hangout time in there at a restaurant. There may be a special giveaway. There may be some free work or a free class admission. You never know. We're going to try our best to give, a decent package of giveaway stuff to you guys at 3,500 because bless you, there's been a lot of you that have stuck by us this entire time and we do want to give back. 5,000 follows here on Facebook will get us ramped up to do a reenactment of a horror movie of the community's choosing. And, of course, we've got our own side projects that a couple of you might be selected to be a part of. There's a lot of stuff coming up this year. We're still working for you. We're trying to make the content better. We're trying to be more places as far as events. We're trying to offer more and unique things as far as readings and different stuff that we do. We're trying to up our game. We need y'all to help us do that. But I will be seeing you on recording tomorrow for the forecast. And till then, as always, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and remember that those that have the power to change themselves have the power to change the world around themselves. Love y'all.
Oops.